when
We're
I'm sort of
live.
talking over Ben while he's talking, simply because I know that there's
Check, check, one, two.
a sort of
Check,
dead
check,
air
one,
happening
two. Still being
over
weird.
on Ben's
Uh,
side. So he's saying that it's still being weird.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah,
he's unsure of what the problem
I don't get it.
is with
I'm
Audition.
unsure. I'm gonna go with it, and
He's just gonna go with it,
I'm
and
gonna use this, and
he's gonna
we'll see
use.
what
When you say
happens.
you're gonna use this, you mean you're gonna use Audition, and we're gonna
I'm gonna
see
use Audition. I'm gonna let it do the weird thing it's doing.
it's gonna do the weird thing,
And if it doesn't
and
work, I'm just going to steal the audio from
then
this
if it doesn't work,
YouTube
he's going to steal
file
the audio from the YouTube
and use
file
that
and
for the
use that
show.
instead for the show.
Here we
So
go.
it'll have my voice uh, and his voice. I'm still recording this audio that I'm
A-
still going to send to him, but who knows what you're
Adobe
going to be listening to,
Adobe is going
ladies
to
and
get a
gentlemen.
very angry letter
Angry
from me.
letter. I'm shaking my tiny
It's
fist.
it's a,
He
like
says,
just earlier today, like I broke my website because I updated something,
"Hmm."
so I'm being vexed by technology right
I'm
now,
telling
and
you,
it's
Ben, it's this
so
administration. It's
I hate it. It
all their
is.
fault.
It's I blame the Republicans.
They've removed all. Oh, I was telling somebody about this today. Um, there, there is okay. So we should set the stage here. It is March 27th, 2025, and Signalgate is a mere what 2 days old, so to that effect.
Yeah.
Uh, so for those of you who don't know, I used to be in the United States Air Force. Ben has not served.
No.
Uh, is he?
Nor will I ever,
Yes,
actually.
exactly. And I most likely will not either. And full all cards on the table. I served for just over a year. I was
Yeah.
uh, honorably discharged, and
My dad served and both my grandparents served, so I come from a long line of servers.
the reason that we bring this up is because one thing that happens when you're in the military is that you get training on OPSEC, operational security.
Yeah.
Loose lips sink ships is the famous thing from World War II. And the basic idea is this that you have to be careful about where and when you talk about information.
Yeah.
So,
So Singlegate, I don't know if people are listening to this in the future. Singlegate, Paul, do you want to
yeah,
describe what
who knows
Singlegate
who knows
is?
how big it is.
Yeah.
Right now it's all anybody's talking about, but who knows? It may just fade into the background of history. Um, basically, the idea is that when you're talking about classified information, classifications of information, when you're dealing with the military and civilian secret information, in this situation, it's classified based on how much harm it can do to the United States, basically. Um, top secret is the most harm. Secret is a little less harm, and then controlled unclassified information is another thing that you worry about, and that's stuff that isn't classified but could be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, have I left some levels of security out? Maybe. How are you going to know? Unless you know, and if you do know, you'll know why I'm doing that.
Ah, come
Uh,
on.
the basic, no, Ben, it's true. It's something that we have to.
Yeah. Okay. I've changed audio devices midstream. Can you tell? Oh, and now I can't hear Paul. Oh my god, everything is fucking blowing up. Jesus Christ. Yes, I swore. Oh.
Uh,
Oh,
I I'm
now you're
fine.
back.
I'm fine. Ben can't hear me, but oh, he can now.
Now you're back.
Uh,
And is it my
okay.
internet? What the? And my audition stopped recording, so I will have to use the YouTube.
Okay. We're going to be using the YouTube audio, folks. I'm still going to record this. I'm still going to send it to you, but my guess is that you're going to easily just rip the audio from that.
Recording
Use
in progress.
my oh my gosh.
I have no other choice, man.
Yeah. So wait, are we starting now?
No, we just keep on going. I'll do something, but this is like,
Okay.
oh, Jesus Christ.
This might be when it starts, ladies and gentlemen. If it is, Ben and I were just in the middle of almost talking about Signalgate. So here's the basic idea.
Oh,
Plus-
goody!
Yeah, GudeLaurance, how's it going? How's it happening?
How's it happening?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the middle of a conversation that has anything to do with national security basically, will the statements that you make cause harm to the United States if it got out into the general public? If it would, that conversation should be classified. Now, the basic idea is that if something is classified, you have limited channels of where you can discuss that information or have that conversation. One of those places is a place called a skiff, and a skiff is basically a location that is difficult to eavesdrop on. That's what they're there for. That's how it's built. There are protocols for it. You can't take your phone in, etc., etc., and it's very secret. Now, Ben and I have in the past used a piece of software called Signal, which is on the phone, and Signal is an encrypted way to talk to, I believe, Stephen McCandless. I think that's what it's for mostly.
Yeah, it's a consumer encrypted messaging app, so it's allegedly one of the safer ones out there.
But if you are a member of the military or work in the federal space, whatever, you'll be told, hey, if you're going to use this, make sure that you don't say anything on this app that you should be saying in a skiff, for example. Right? There'll be I'll give you a great example, or let's not even use, because I don't want to get into trouble, but let's just say medical information for people, right? That's not classified information, but you can use it as a sort of a similar thing.
Yeah.
I might be able to say to Ben something like over Signal. I might be able to say to Ben, "Hey, I'm sending you that file that we talked about." Pretty innocuous. We don't know exactly what's going on. If I say to you, "Hey, I'm sending you the Jennifer Pratt file," all of a sudden now there's identifying information there. Not really great. If I would send you, "Hey, do you remember how I told you that Jennifer Pratt needs to get her blood drawn for a possible leukemia test? I've sent you that file." That would be too much information. In the same sort of way. So one of the things that's happened is there are lots of audio and video of people who are on this text change getting interviewed about it. And one of the things they would say are, were there specific times, were there specific pieces of ordnance mentioned, etc. And the day before, or the day that it broke, the reporter had said that he left some stuff out of his report. In
the interest of national security.
Yes, and let me jump back. So you should not talk about specifics on apps like Signal, even though they're encrypted, they're third party. You don't know who's going to have access to it, etc.
The danger is that even though Signal may not be able to be hacked, the phones themselves, which the Signal app is on, can be.
Exactly. And then in the case of what happened here, a reporter from The Atlantic, which is a publication that may or may not exist at the time you listen to this, was also added to a group chat that ended up discussing a specific plan to bomb targets in Yemen.
Yeah,
And
Jeffrey Goldberg, who was the managing editor or editor in chief. He's like the top dog there at the Atlantic. He received an invite from, I think his name is Mike Waltz. I don't really know what Mike Waltz's position is, and thought he was being like catfished. Thought
Yeah.
for at first he thought he was being pranked in like by an outside actor to like play him in some way, to like embarrass him, I guess. But he went along with it with that sort of sense of suspicion about it. Full disclosure, I did not read the article in the Atlantic, but I've seen a lot of commentary on it, so take that with a grain of salt. But
so far, everything you've said is as I remember. But he left certain things out, and so when
in his
when
report,
the
yeah,
people,
because lives could be in danger.
Right, he thought, well, this might not be something that needs to be here. But then, when being grilled by Congress, people that were on this signal group said nothing classified was discussed. This isn't classified. Nothing classified was being discussed. And so the Atlantic was like, okay, then we're publishing all of it. And so they did. And when they did, it turns out, well, yes, times were mentioned.
I mean,
specific ordinance was mentioned.
They were trying to have it both ways. They were being like, look, we didn't discuss anything classified. Also, Jeffrey Goldberg lied about everything.
Right.
It's a fake story, but what we talked about wasn't classified.
Yeah, what they said was, this guy's a bottom feeder, security, conspiracy theorist, etc. A hack. This loser, that's the Mike Waltz guy referred to him, and I guess I added this loser by accident. Oh yeah, his explanation also, which was made fun of in a couple of places, is he accidentally added him because I had a different phone number under a name that wasn't the name that it was supposed to be. And I think it was a Daily Show reporter who pointed out, normally when you do that is when you're having an affair. If you have a phone number and the wrong name attached to it, and then he said, "Oh God, who was it? It was the guy. It was the guy who was in Interior Chinatown."
Yeah.
Ronnie
Chang.
God. Say it again.
Ronnie Chang.
Ronnie Chang said, so I guess he was having an affair with Jeffrey Goldstein. It was great. He did a funny thing.
Maybe I did see that.
Did I get no? Jeffrey Goldstein isn't. What's his name?
No. What? Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. That's right. No. What was it? Jeffrey Goldberg.
Jeffrey Goldberg is the writer for the Atlantic who was added.
Sorry, Jeffrey Goldberg. I called you Jeffrey Goldstein. Who knows why I made that mistake?
Because you are famously anti-Semitic, Paul Goody.
Famously anti-Semitic, Paul Goody. Listen to other episodes, especially the one where we got brigaded.
Yeah.
To see awesome. Exactly.
That episode no longer exists.
Why call it? Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I took it down and deleted it.
I mean, look, I could be self-hating, Ben. Also, I mean, the other thing is that I was in fact, this is a true story. I have some Ashkenazi Jewish heritage, but I was raised by Germans. So who knows? Who knows what's going on?
What I love about
I love shrimp, so I can't.
I had shrimp for dinner last night. I don't know why I said it in
shrimp
that way.
Shrimp is great.
I'm gonna make tacos tonight too. It's today is opening day of Major League Baseball. I'm super excited. I'm gonna watch my Seattle Mariners play a great game today because they famously very good on opening night, and then they just crap the bed. They give you a lot of hope.
Likes baseball.
I do like baseball. I'm going to watch the game tonight. I'm going to make tacos. I'm going to have a beer. And it's going to be awesome. I've been sick this week.
Oh, no.
And I took a COVID test yesterday. It was negative, but I was still like, I was on tap to run the live stream for the show at Annex tonight, and that sort of got taken away from me without any of my input because somebody mentioned to somebody else that I was sick, so this somebody else was like, oh, you're not going to do the live stream, so somebody else gets to do it. And at first I was like, hey, but then I'm like, hey, night off.
Baseball.
Anyway, what I love about the Atlantic story is that Goldberg was like in a parking lot, like he was like doing grocery shopping. I don't remember what he was doing in his car, looking at this text chain and seeing like the details of when and where they were going to hit something. So like went over to Twitter to like see if anything, like people were reporting bombs dropping, and that's how he confirmed that it was legit.
Because then it started happening. The other thing that's interesting is he was in the parking lot. Other people on these chains, one of them was in Russia. And okay, what's Gabbard's?
Tulsi Gabbard. She's a director of national intelligence.
Was flying somewhere over Asia.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were a lot of different places.
Yeah.
It came out later that the phone numbers that they were using and some of their passwords and some of their email addresses were all available in the dark web for purchase.
Yeah. Meaning that their phones could be hacked.
Yeah. Because apparently, that was part of the thing, is that these were being used on personal devices. Ben, you mentioned that already. I am now catching up with the fact that you said that.
The whole thing, everybody has been resurfacing the way the Republicans melted down about Hillary Clinton's personal email server back in 2015.
Which, I mean, me as a security, conscious kind of guy, still not great. Still not, but
it lost her, ostensibly, you could say that lost her the election. Controversy.
There's a lot of stuff that lost her the election. That was a piece of it.
Being a woman, first and foremost.
Look, here's the thing. I put it all down to Lin-Manuel Miranda dancing, saying never going to be president now, to Trump. He tested the gods, and they said, you shouldn't have.
Are you sure it was Lin-Manuel Miranda and not Seth Meyers making fun of Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Oh, boy.
And Obama. Seth Meyers and Barack Obama like piled on to Trump, who was in the audience, and a lot of people are saying that's when he decided to run for office.
Well, yeah, okay.
Embarrassed.
I guess, deciding to run, if you put that as part of him winning, which I guess it has to be, right? Hey, so you know me, Ben. You know that I like these little licorice things with the little sour candy powder inside of it.
Oh, yeah, I love those things. I'm a big fan of sour gummy candies.
I don't know if you've got this one or not, but these right here, it's the last one. I found it on the floor. I've cleaned it off pretty well.
And you're going to eat it live on camera. This is
lemon heads, Ben.
This is patient zero right here for the next plague. Paul eating a piece of sour candy that he found on his floor.
The best one of these I've had so far. Lemon heads.
Love me some lemon heads. I don't know if I've had lemon head sour sticks.
Yeah, that's licorice with stuff on the inside.
Licorice with stuff on the inside.
Lemonade flavored. Oh, so anyway, so this is still going on. It's a big deal. But one of the things that was nice, Senator Kelly, I think, Senator Kelly, Mark Kelly, was an Air Force sorry, was a Navy guy, then an astronaut. There was a confirmation hearing that he was in today, and there was something that was really nice about it, and that's that he brought up this thing already about the signal thing, and about how everybody knows what's classified and what isn't. It's bad. And then when he talked to there was a confirmation thing for some sort of maritime group. His conversations with those two folks, pleasant
Being a former Navy guy.
About the things that they were there to talk about,
Yeah.
and they were nice. He was nice. It was great. And it reminded me of, oh, this is what politics could be, boring, and that's not bad.
Politics should be boring.
But
It's
I
dangerous when they're exciting.
I have to say, I love watching Gabbard answer these questions because her answers are exactly enough information to answer the question without committing any way, shape, or form to those answers.
She's been in the game a long time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I personally not a fan of the things that happen, but a fan of just like I will direct you to Patel for that information. That's one of the things that she said a couple of times.
Cash me
Or I will
outside.
reference you to the DoD about those information. So yeah, it's interesting. So what I will say at this point in time, we don't have any new information.
As of
If
Thursday,
these people
March 27th, 2025.
had been members of the military and not known entities, they would have been at least made to do much more training.
Right.
Number one, but probably more reprimanded. What would happen if a civilian person had done this? I think I know exactly what would have happened. It would have been they would have lost their clearance and therefore lost their job because by nature of their job they would have had to have clearance in order to do it.
Yeah, that's going to be the frustrating part about this whole experience is not that it happened, but there's not going to be a fallout. Nobody's going to get fired over this. Nobody's going to lose their job over this. Even though I have seen people saying in like a democratic administration, the heads would roll, the president would be forced to resign or stuff like that.
People have been bringing up Al Franken again. I'm still of the opinion Al Franken made the right call, saved everybody a bunch of trouble. Didn't make the right call when doing the thing,
Right.
but made the right call afterwards.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing about that is not only so it was like going back to the whole Franken thing, it was like a right-wing operative, I'm not quite sure what they were called, that dug up all the pictures that got him in trouble. Yep. And the Republicans were calling for his resignation. But what gets me is that there were Democratic senators calling for his resignation as well. You don't see Republican senators calling for other Republican senators to resign. So
right.
that's the frustrating part is not yet. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. The frustrating part is not that Al Franken did something bad and paid the price. The frustrating part is that Democrats always make the right call, and Republicans don't care. It's that double standard that gets me.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing, right? Somebody said it really, really well. I like it when everybody follows the rules. That way, when I break the rules, I get ahead. That's the the bottom line is that when you have a not a meritocracy, but a rule of law, right? The people that are willing to break that code even though it screws over everybody else, are the ones who benefit. And there are so many times when I mean, we talked about this before. I did we talk about this at the last podcast, the date that I had with Jennifer at Elephant and Castle?
I don't think we talked about your Elephant and Castle date, but we may have talked about it before. We are
Okay,
on
so
episode 474.
yes. So Jennifer and I went to Elephant and Castle. If you know, I mean, you and I would go to Elephant and Castle. It was like one of our spots,
I
right?
loved
I was
it.
like,
It was a British pub downtown.
yeah, Jennifer, let's go to Elephant Castle. So we went to Elephant Castle. She got something that had spinach in it, and that's funny because we're talking about Elephant and Castle. I said something that had spinach in it. Uh, in it, she had spinach in it. But she had spinach in it, and she started choking.
Oh,
And so she went to the restroom.
which is how people die from choking.
Yes, exactly. And then everybody at the restaurant's looking at me,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Aren't you going to go help her?" To which I reply,
She's in the
"It's
ladies'
the
room.
women's room."
Yeah.
And then a waitress went in, and a server went in and helped her,
A food attendant.
and a food attendant who was also a woman. Apropos to the story, for me to mention it, because she could go into the ladies' room.
Right.
If it had been a man, I would have tried to
did
stop
not
him.
want to break the agreed upon set of rules
Yes.
regarding gendered restrooms.
Many years later, apparently I have autism. So, there's definitely a
Yeah, I know what you mean. I probably would have done the same. I mean, if I felt that she could not breathe at all, maybe I would have gotten a bit more nervous. But I probably wouldn't gone in either. Because I feel weird about doing that sort of. It's not that I think.
well, and what am I gonna do? At the time, I didn't know anything about CPR or any of that.
I've heard the Heimlich maneuver.
Oh yeah. So, but
Go
oh,
ahead.
just really quick, and then
Yeah.
and then there is an okay. So Greg Davies, who
Very tall British comedian.
um, had his own TV show that he wrote and starred in about a crime scene cleaner.
Okay.
And in one of the things, he runs into a guy with autism, and he needs help, and the guy won't go to help him because he's having his emergency in an employees only area, and the guy won't go to the employees only area. And I'm watching this, and I turned to Jennifer, and I'm like, "Do you think that's realistic?" And she said, "You didn't save me from choking because I was in the women's restroom."
She still
Yes.
holds that over you, huh?
Oh, I don't know if she holds it over me. She hasn't forgotten it.
She knows. She
Certainly.
hasn't forgotten it. Well, I mean,
And
Jennifer,
would you?
why did you get up and
That's
leave?
the other thing. Yeah. So, okay, but
I'm
you
gonna
were saying.
I'm gonna die without anybody seeing me. Also,
No, you were saying though. You had a
weird
thing that
line
you.
right there on my neck. It looks like I.
Oh,
choked or
yeah.
something. You see
Like
that?
you tried to hang yourself.
Did I
Yeah.
try to hang myself? I don't know what's going on there. What was? I'm doing a film inside of a swimming pool later this summer, and so we were
Oh.
scouting this pool, and I wanted.
A full swimming pool or an empty swimming pool?
It'll be an empty swimming pool. It'll just be like three of us, nobody in the water, right? And when we went to go look at this pool, it was still, it was open. It's like a community pool, right? It's an indoor community pool, and we're also going to be filming in the locker rooms. And so I went into the guys' locker room, but I felt very, very, very awkward about it because I'm dressed in all in like street clothes, right? And there are children with their parents in the pool. Obviously, I'm with somebody who works at the pool. I am with two other women. We are obviously doing something. I didn't just like wander in, but still,
Yeah.
a grown man walking into a changing room. End of this story, nobody was actually in there, but when I was walking into the change room, I'm like, this has the potential to be super freaking awkward for me and somebody else. Because I don't know if like a father was in there with their kid and like saw me walk in, what's gonna happen? There's gonna be
Did you
suspicious
have your
looks.
camera with you, or
See, that's the thing.
just you being a person?
It's just me being a person. I did not have a camera with me, but I did want to take pictures because I want to like remember what it looked like. But even though nobody was in there, I still did not take any photos
That is really, really interesting,
because I'm
Ben.
like,
And
I can't like even nobody's gonna see me do this, but I still can't break that agreement that we've made as a community that there are no cameras in change rooms.
right, yeah. It makes sense because you're in that space. I think that I know that I probably mentioned it on this podcast before, but I'll say it again. When I was a kid, uh, and I was in grade school, we had a gymnasium where we would play basketball. And one day, we put up a whole bunch of tables and chairs in that gymnasium, and we as kids went and we all ate with old people. Like we were supposed to serve them, we were supposed to talk to them about their lives, etc.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it struck me that time is very important because what would have happened if the basketball game and the old people happened at the same time? Because it's the same space.
What would have happened?
It's only time that they would have ran into all the old people.
You don't
And it
want to
would
run
have
into
been
old people. Old people are very fragile.
crazy. Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
We're
did I
going to be
tell you-
old, Ben.
What's that?
We're going to be old.
We are old. I turned
Yeah.
49 a couple weeks ago, and you are
Exactly.
52, I believe.
I will be 52 on May 15th.
You will be 52 in
Yep.
about a month and a half. I last Friday, the day after we recorded, I saw Sonia Walker and family. They were in Seattle, and we went on the underground tour. So I went on the underground tour with Sonia and Thor and their kids, Atlas and Freya.
How old are Atlas and Freya now?
I have no idea, but I'm going to estimate that Atlas might be around 12 and Freya looks to be about 9 or 10.
You know what's interesting? Sonia, Thor, Atlas, and Freya, that works together, right? As a name of each member of that family. If it had been, I'm just coming up with this. Becky, Thor, Atlas, and Freya, not as much.
Every once in a while, Thor, because I'm friends with Thor on Facebook, every once in a while, Facebook wants me to be friends with like other members of his family, and I'm assuming they're members of his family because they have the same last name and weird for like unusual, not weird, unusual first names.
Like,
I can't even remember now, but I will. Maybe I'll try to look it up. But yeah, they're definitely Thor's parents definitely weren't reaching into the Jennifer, Jason, Rachel, name book when they had kids.
When I was in St. Louis and I'm checking, okay, Ben, I don't want people to be able to search the audio and find this.
Oh no, what are you gonna do?
When I was in St. Louis, and there was an organization that people sometimes criticize because it is a religion that was formed
by a science fiction
by
writer?
see even that I'm worried that that'll be found by that. But yes, that's enough.
We've talked about your dalliances with that organization in the past.
Yes, but you couldn't search the audio back when I did it. Now you can.
Well, now you can search that audio. You couldn't maybe then. But now
That's
you
what I
can.
mean. Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. I don't want to make it worse.
Gotcha.
There was a guy who was working there whose name was like Zoltan or Zolar or something like that. And
Zoltar.
I was very skeptical of his name. I was like, really? Are you just? But it was weird. The folks there weren't like crazy in that way. They were actually somewhat very normal. I think I mentioned this before. A lot of them smoked. They were all smokers, and I thought that was weird.
You don't see a lot of
Um,
smokers these days. We had a
yeah,
show where like half the cast smoked and the director smoked, and so like, I was just taken aback because like it's been a long time since we've had smoke breaks at during
yeah.
rehearsals. It's fallen
Jennifer
very out of vogue.
explained something about smoking that I didn't understand, and that it's a mood stabilizer. So if you're upset, if you smoke a cigarette, you'll be less upset. And it's not just because you've taken a break,
Right.
and it's not just because you've needed nicotine and now you have it. It actually is a thing that happens to settle you down.
Every once in a while, you see the same question posted on the Ask Reddit subreddit, and one that pops on a lot is like, people who don't smoke and drink, what do you do to calm down and relax?
Yeah,
I never
it's
read the
easy.
answers though.
I have only one answer. It comes from the tiger lilies, and it's kick a baby down the stairs, or maybe an old lady.
I was waiting for somebody to post masturbation.
That was actually the first thing that popped into my head. Um,
Every time I try to relax when I go to the deli too, but I just get kicked out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, but what about the pickle slicer? Well, they fired her too. Um, so anyway, Ben, we're living in now. Um, I mean, this is the thing is it's still too early to tell. Is this going to be, a big issue or is it not? Is
The
this our
signal? Are we back on
Watergate?
Signal Gate? Is
Yeah.
it going to?
Is
Is it
this
going to be?
our Probably not because it's being called Signalgate.
No, like I said, nobody's going to pay any price for this, and and I doubt there's going to be any change of behavior. They're just going to be more careful about who they invite to their chats.
Yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, and that's the big thing, Ben. It's funny. Uh, Walt said that he takes full responsibility for what happened. But the thing is, what happened, the leak, isn't the problem. The problem is what the leak showed.
Right.
And here's
They're
people
not upset about what they did. They're upset they got caught.
people ask me, are we, you know, is this treason? It's not treason. It could be considered espionage. And there is one scenario where this would be the case. And that's if we find out that Waltz was mad at somebody on the committee and thought that things were going badly and that they shouldn't be doing stuff on Signal, etc., and put the reporter on there on
On
purpose.
purpose. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that
If
theory.
if I were those folks and I wanted to throw someone under the bus, that's the agenda that I would push. I would push that Waltz had an axe to grind with Hegseth, was jealous of him, and then said this. All right, so whenever I'm talking about potential
Are we? Did we
espionage
hit
against the
the
U.S. government,
sponsorship part
I
of
I
the?
always enjoy Sahara Gold date coconut rolls.
Yes.
Um, they have some sort of spice to them, which is really
Use
interesting.
code Yum
Um,
Yum on checkout and get no % off.
they have 2% of the iron that you need for a day. It's one piece, 11 pieces per.
What's
Uh,
what's the serving size for that 2% of your iron?
a tasty way to meet your daily need of antioxidants, fiber, and potassium.
Is it
What'd
one
you say,
ball?
Ben?
What's I'm glad you're an active participant
Oh,
in this
one
conversation.
piece.
Okay.
One piece.
So eat
Um,
50 of those and you'll have all of your iron.
yeah, I'm trying to see, is it really just dates and coconuts? It has some sort of spice to it. I feel like they're not being full maybe if I open it up, maybe the ingredients are on the inside.
I know I
But
mentioned
there's
I
a
was
reason.
I was having tacos tonight. I have no other food in my house. I think I have a can of soup and that is it.
No, there
My
isn't.
my fridge and my pantry is alarmingly stark.
So I just wanted to show you this, Ben.
Tiny plastic fork?
It comes with a tiny plastic fork so that you can eat it.
So you don't because they're sticky, right? You don't want to you get that on your fingers. Is that the point of the tiny plastic fork?
Mhm. So I have to say that I am not as big of a fan of these because they're soft, right? There's a different type of date roll that's actually chewy. Oh yeah, ingredients, date and coconut, and that's it. I still find it hard to believe. It's spicy in a different way.
I said, yeah, no. I was gonna
Oh,
try to describe a meme I saw yesterday, but nobody wants to hear that.
Ben, Ben,
Paul,
Jennifer and I went to several restaurants, and one of them was
and nobody had the crab rangoon.
Triple Crown, which is a great restaurant. I had a very Curb Your Enthusiasm kind of moment. Um, so Triple Crown, it's a dim sum restaurant. They bring the food around, and then you pick.
Yeah, do they still have the
You know,
carts? They don't do the carts here anymore.
so they do have carts, but it's different now because you mark down what you want on a menu, and then they bring a cart to you that has all the food that you asked for. You're not picking.
Ah, I
So
got
it's a
you.
little different. But
Yeah.
when I was there, I the total bill was like $49.
For both of
But
you, for dim sum, that's not bad.
yeah, but I also got rewards points because I had been using this app, this Toast app. So I got $6.17 off. And so then I added seven something for tip. No, I added more. It must have been eight something because I ended up doing, 22% of the entire bill. But when she got the check back, it looked like I had only given her like $1 something in tip because that's the end total was only a
Oh,
dollar or so
yeah.
from the original total. And I was like, no, I already gave there was a tip on here, and she was like, okay. She didn't care at all. This is why I'm saying it's a curve. I made more of a deal about it than she did,
Right.
which is, fine.
I imagine that if
Anyway,
you're a server, you grow a thick skin regarding tips. Maybe you're like, well,
but
I had one of those customers today who
but
tipped a
but I
dollar.
don't want her to think it's one of me. I don't want her to think that I'm one of those because I didn't. I tipped her
Let it go, Paul. Let it
22%.
go.
Okay, so there's that. But then also, we went to a Japanese street food place.
This all in the same day?
No, no. Since we last talked, since you and I last talked,
Okay, I got you.
and the Japanese street food place, Ben, was amazing.
So was it a
Wagyu beef.
restaurant that specialized in street food, or was it
Yes,
like trucks
it
on the
wasn't.
street?
See, this is. I thought it was going to be trucks on the street, but it was actually a sit-down place that then
Okay,
just served Japanese street food.
yeah.
So Wagyu beef skewer, which was really good,
Mm.
and prawns, which are really good. Corn, uh, that was good. Um, Two things that were interesting and good. Well, I didn't eat one of them. One of them only Jennifer ate. It's something called a chicken lantern,
Never heard of
which
it.
is it's chicken and then at the end of the chicken is a unfertilized ovum. It's like a really small round
When you
egg.
say at the end of the chicken, what do you mean?
Oh, at the end of a skewer, sorry.
Okay.
There's chicken, 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 and then this sort of thing. And she bit into it and it exploded yolk all over her.
Oh God. Yolk?
Hmm. Yeah, so it's like an egg. It's like an egg, but it's different. I can't describe it. It's smaller and it's
Please don't
round.
describe it.
Um. Anyway, so that happened. But then, Ben, I had this yakisoba, and which reminded me, of course, of our dear friend of mine, John McKenna, wakisoba, the funny Japanese noodle, which I still like every time that I hear his voice. Whenever, but so it's this
Wakisoba.
yakisoba, and I'm eating it, and Jennifer was trying it too. She said it's too spicy for me. I'm still eating it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. It's a spice that sort of lingers, and eventually, right? It got to the point where it's still spicy, right, in my mouth, but I don't taste the spice anymore. I'm just tasting the rest of the food. I'm like, that's weird. The spice is like in the background now. It's
Mm.
hard to describe. So I'm
There's
eating it,
notes of spice, hints of
and
spice.
I then go and I get a drink of my water, and the water
Was
tasted like this
spicy.
spice,
Yeah.
and the tea tasted like everything tasted like this spice. I'm like, I'm glad that I ate this last
Yeah.
because now this tastes like everything. And then it stopped after about 30 minutes.
I
And apparently there
yeah.
are some sorts of peppers that they serve in some Japanese food that are
Just
um,
linger.
famous, prized for this buzzing, numbing sensation that they give your mouth. So it was one of those, but I
Buzzing.
wasn't told that that's what it was.
Yeah.
So it was confusing.
I don't know. I can't do spicy foods. I try. It's physically painful for me because I grew up in the Northwest where we don't have a lot of spice. Um, there's seasoning, but I don't have a lot of spice. I went to a bar once and I got a fancy cocktail. I never do this, but I got a fancy cocktail and there was like this sort of like
Was it in Seattle?
it was in
Like
Seattle. Yeah, it's a place called
recent?
what was that place called? Foreign National. That's the name of the place. It's like a speakeasy.
Mm.
It's weird. Um, I got a fancy cocktail, and one of the ingredients was this smoky, some sort of smoky liqueur, right? And
Oh,
it smelled like a campfire. It also had like bitters and blah
ah,
blah blah.
yeah.
And I swear to God, I had that smoke flavor in my mouth for a couple days after that.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, never, never again am I getting anything that. I also like one day, like one of the few times I've drank to excess and have vomited. It was from like a really peaty scotch, and
Ah,
so I just can't do smoky things anymore because of those horrible memories of that fateful night.
peaty Scotch. Interesting. I don't know. I don't know what that is
Well, you
exactly.
don't drink scotch, but there's a certain some scotches are aged in oak barrels that have been burned, and so they absorb the smoke
Oh,
flavor, and so it's actually if it
I
in
think I
moderation
might like
it
that.
can be pretty good, but when you drink a bottle of Lafroig during a rap party, you're not gonna have a good time.
Sorry, Ben. Uh, Ben and I are both. We both tread the boards in the theater now and again. That kind of a rap party. I thought for just a second. Come on, Ben. Get on the mic, Ben. It's your turn. You know
My
that sort
name's
of.
Ben Laum. I'm here to say
Yeah.
I forgot to rhyme.
Yes. Sorry, the look on my face. I was overjoyed. Um. Okay, so Ben gonna guess the news.
Hey, Ben gonna guess the news.
We're about 10 minutes to the end. Ben gonna guess the news. We talked a little bit about politics already. Um,
Talked a lot about
Donald
it.
Trump had a nominee for the UN that he has asked not to take the position and asked to withdraw from the position. Why?
So I don't know this story. So it did the nominee themselves ask not to do it, or did Trump nominate this person and then say, actually, no?
Trump nominated this person and then asked her, "Hey, could you please not accept this nomination? Could you please withdraw from
Okay.
this?"
Um, is it Alina Habba, his old lawyer?
Um, I don't know the person's name,
Oh,
and
okay.
and that's part of it. I don't know this person's name, but it's not material to why
Oh,
he's asking.
we want to know why and not who it
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Why did Trump ask this person to withdraw their
mhm,
nomination?
yeah.
Did it turn out that they were a person of color and he didn't know that?
No, 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 that is not why. Um, the reason it's funny is because I had to think for a second to make sure that wasn't.
Ah.
No.
Um. I just want to be mean and
Oh,
stereotype Trump, but
well, you could be really general. Like think about the reasons why someone would be disinvited to
did he
hold a
find out
position.
that they said something bad about him at some point in the
Okay,
past?
this is good because now I can answer a little bit. It's not for anything that they themselves did.
Are they part of an organization that Trump does not like?
Okay, this is again me allowing me to give you a little bit of a hint. They are a part of an organization, not necessarily that one Trump doesn't like, but their position inside of this organization is the reason why
Oh,
they were disinvited.
is it a for-profit company or is it
Uh, uh,
like a bank or something?
no, in fact, I can say it is a government institution.
A government institution that
And because this person is a member of this institution, Trump said, "Hey, maybe don't take this position as a UN ambassador."
um oh, because he needs this person in this government job.
Ben, you yes, look at this. This is great. This is great. We're almost there.
Because Trump wants to do something and this person has promised to do it for them. But if they get nominated, if they move to the UN, somebody else who's not a loyalist will assume this position. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing is that I will tell you this. The this position, it's not really up to Trump who would get the position if this person leaves.
Yeah. Oh God.
And I am actually, you can see me, I'm actually looking
You're looking it up.
something up for the first time.
Well, for the first time today, maybe.
Okay.
Do you know this person's name
So,
and what job they
no, no,
had?
no. I didn't look up who they are at all. I'm just looking up statistics about this organization they're a member of.
Oh. Is it a governmental organization that is pretty widely well known?
Yes,
Do they deal in regulation?
they do. In fact, maybe using the term organization, maybe that's where I've gone wrong. They aren't even just an organization, they're an institution, they're a national institution, a widely known body
Governmental
in the
institution.
government.
Is it the Department of something?
No, it's one could even say that maybe considered higher than the department of something.
Oh, it's it's not a
Maybe.
senator
Oh,
who would
you're
be,
so close. Not a senator, no.
but a congressperson.
A congressperson, Ben.
A
It's a
congressperson.
congressperson, and right now, as we speak, March 27th, 2025, there are 4 vacant seats in the House right now. And one is Florida, a seat that used to be Matt Gaetz' seat, I think.
Oh yeah, because he resigned
Yep. And then
after pulling
another
out of
Florida
the nominee for something I can't remember.
seat that is Waltz's seat, the Waltz that we've been talking about this time, because he's now, in charge of whatever he's in charge of.
Yeah.
A seat in Arizona. Oh, those two are both Florida. A seat in Arizona. There was a Democrat, Grijalva, who died on March 13th. At a Texas, congressperson named Turner died on March 5th. Both of those two are considered probably Dem, and there's a
Almost
chance
as if
that someone in Florida might be able to win the
yeah,
Democrat
so
seats.
Trump wants to keep a red district red.
Yep.
So asked
And
whoever
so-
this congressperson was to withdraw their name.
Yep, exactly.
Right on.
And I think that would have been kind of crazy. No, I won't. I think I mentioned this before. The government shutdown was averted. The Senate passed something,
A
and I
continuing
thought it would be
resolution.
really, really funny if Donald Trump vetoed it, just because he's a chaos monster.
No, I'm shutting it all down.
Yeah, exactly. But that didn't happen, so
Yeah.
we're fine. Are we?
Are we though?
Maybe
Are
not.
we?
Uh,
See, every day
So-
there's just something horrible coming out. They are flooding the zone with crap these days.
yes, indeed. So, in the end, Ben, we're getting
We're all just human.
towards here.
beings.
I'm going to tell you something after this. I don't think I'm going to tell you
Post-show
on.
breakdown.
Yeah. And just because I don't know if the person that I'm going to be telling you about this thing, if they would want the world to know.
Gotcha.
But I
The
don't
world
care if they don't
of
care.
Stephen and Catherine.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they wouldn't mind either Stephen or Catherine knowing, but we'll see. It is now. Here's the thing. I definitely don't want to take steps to make this unlistenable for Stephen or Catherine, but it is something that I do think about sometimes.
How to be
About
more
how-
abusive to our listeners?
Well, this is the thing: is that famously Stephen says that we are the most hostile podcast to our audiences. Since we know 2 specific audience members, we could ratchet it up just a little bit, find out things that they don't like, and have those be the topics of what we discuss.
Well, today, maybe to annoy Catherine, I'll just talk about how much I love WordPress.
Oh, hey,
Love
Ben.
it. WordPress
This is
great. I'm
Absolutely true,
so
Ben.
Happy. with
WordPress. I just renewed my WordPress subscription recently.
Subscription.
Did I do it on purpose, or did they? Yeah. So I pay to keep ads off of it, but I haven't actually
at
visited.
WordPress.com.
Yeah, I haven't actually visited my WordPress site in a while. I should probably visit it and use their wonderful tools to update my website.
I have I manage 3 WordPress installations, and I have not updated anything in like years, and now it's starting to catch up to me. And but also like WordPress is telling me you can't update to the latest version of WordPress because you're running the wrong version of PHP. Click here. And so I like click here, and it's like, oh, if you clicked here because we told you were running the wrong version of PHP, you're fine because we actually have this legacy version of PHP that works. So ignore it. So now I just have to look at this warning every time I log into my dashboard. It says, you need to upgrade. And I try to upgrade. It's like, no, you don't worry about it.
Hey, you're fine.
Fine.
Oh, I wanted to say
Go back
also,
to bed.
there was a thing that was happening sort of next door, so I went out to look at it. And what was happening was there was a tree that these guys were trimming. And so you've seen a cherry picker before,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Where
Yeah.
somebody's so there's a guy in a cherry picker, and he had a chainsaw and a stick, and he's cutting these limbs off of a tree, and the limbs are just crashing down. Jennifer looked and said, "So are they doing anything to miss the wire?" And then so they're just hitting
They're like power
the
lines or
electrical
something?
wires and stuff. Yeah. She said, "Is it the power company?" And I'm like, "I don't think so, but I don't know because there are just some guys,
Just
right?"
some homeowner who wanted a better view.
So yeah, so I walked up to the guys and I was like, "Can I watch this happen?" And they were like, "Okay, sure." And I'm like, "So that guy moves that guy around. That's pretty cool. Thanks." And as I'm walking away, one of the guys said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "What's your tattoo?" And that's
yeah.
the tattoo for those of you. And it was funny because in my head for a second I was like, maybe I should lie, and I don't know why I thought that. But I was like, oh, it's the Illuminati symbol, and he's like, okay.
Maybe he was a member of ICE and was wondering if you were Guatemalan and had a tattoo and would ship you off to El Salvador.
I don't think he was ICE. He seemed younger than your typical ICE agent. That was the thing, is that there were like some older guys and some younger guys. None of them were wearing hard hats. This is why when she said, "Was it the power company?" I was like, "I don't think so."
Probably not.
Um,
Just some dudes who got a
but
paint cherry picker and a new chainsaw.
that, nobody even paid me to do this.
We're
It's
just
crazy
driving
what
around with the
people.
truck, saw a couple of trees, thought we'd give it a try.
It's crazy what people let you do if you've got a cherry picker and a chainsaw.
You just put on a
Um,
yellow safety vest, you go anywhere.
yeah, no safety vests either. That was the other thing. Street clothes only. All right.
Anyway, so you
So
told him it
anyway,
was the Illuminati symbol.
yeah, and then I told him the story, and I think I've told you about it before too. When I was in the Air Force, my roommate in the Air Force was a big conspiracy theorist. He used to watch stuff about how Mormons are bad all the time, which was weird.
I have some friends who are weirdly anti-Mormon. It's
Yeah.
unusual.
Well, they did some stuff, but we could talk about that
And
off the pod
everything's
too.
problematic.
Um, but anyway, the basic story is that and one of the things he was big on is the New World Order, Illuminati, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I went to Columbia, Missouri, and at this time, this is also when this is the exact same time when I heard the story about how um, Rob Thomas went into this tattoo parlor, this specific tattoo parlor in Columbia, Missouri, and said, "Hey, I'm Rob Thomas." And the guy who was doing the tattoos that day was like, "So?" And then Rob Thomas left, and it's still one of my favorite stories.
That's a good story.
Um,
I I pulled out my copy of the Illuminatus trilogy
yeah,
that I think I read twice when I was in college because I read it through and it's a thick freaking
Ben,
book.
I didn't know that you. Okay, this is something about each other that I think I might have mentioned this. I didn't know that you read that book because I read that book. I
Yeah.
like that book.
I read it once. I may have even been in high school, but I remember rereading it, and I
Yeah.
pulled it out, and I have a there's a business card in here for the some guy named Bill who worked at the Red Hook Ale Brewery. I'm not going to show it
Oh,
in case he's still there. That brewery no longer exists, by the way. And I have a card for a play that was happening at the Group Theater called "Never Whistle While You're Pissing."
hey,
And
which is part of that's in that book, Ben.
so it's by Carlos Murillo, and I remember I very specifically I know why this card is in this book is because I went to go see this guy talk, and he never once mentioned Robert Anton Wilson, Robert Shea, or the Illuminatus trilogy. And I'm like, but you're taking that line from that book.
Yeah.
That line from that book is the title of your play.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe they got it from somewhere else too. It's possible.
This satirical thriller finds a young man competing against fate in an attempt to solve the mystery that threatens to unravel his family. A fun house tour de force by one of America's most promising new voices.
Wow, look at that.
And I also wrote down a phone number. Oh, I'm not going to show it. Wrote down a phone number for someone named Roger. I don't know who Roger is.
Oh, interesting. You should probably call him.
Let's call him. Also call
Roger,
Bill
who are
from
you?
The Red Hook Brewery. See if that line's still...
So the basic thing was, I'm at this place, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a tattoo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And they're like, "Well, what do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. This is my friend who's doing it." And eventually, I'm like, "I'll tell you what. I've got an idea for a prank. Give me the Illuminati symbol." So he does it, and this is, I mean, every time he sees me, which we haven't seen each other in a decade at least, probably. He always says, "Let me touch it up," and I'm always like, "No, I like the fact that it looks old." But I got a septum piercing at the same time.
Oh.
And whenever the tattoo would hurt too much, I would touch the septum piercing, which would then hurt more than the tattoo, and I would just bounce back and forth on that. But anyway, then I let a couple weeks or a month go by for it to heal, and then I made sure he would always come back around the same time. This is my roommate in the Air Force, if you remember. And I came out wearing a towel out of the shower, and then covered the tattoo. Like, I was like, and he was like, "What's that on your arm?" And I looked at her and I said, "We've been after you for some time now."
Yeah.
And he freaked out. He asked for a new roommate. I got to keep the room. And I had my own room for a while based off of that.
It all worked out in the end.
And I'll tell you the rest of the story after the podcast. So, keep it wrong. How's it happening? And we did it, Ben. Another podcast in the can.
Had to adapt, improvise, and overcome over here at the recording central.
Exactly.
All right.
So now we're at the right time, right?
I've not been keeping track because I have no way to time keep, but it's
I think we got it.
I think we got it. All right.
All right.